Commonwealth Games from 28th July to 8th August, live from Birmingham, England. In August, join our coverage of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships from the 1st to 6th of August 2022 from Cali, Colombia. Then, in November, catch the World Half Marathon Championships on 13th November from Yangzhou, China. Now that's what sets us apart as KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Wewe ni nani? Kwani wewe ndio nani?
Uko na fedha?
Uko na makoloni? Pepoloni?
Pepoloni.
Na hayawani?
Pinga mtu anafikiria wewe ni president wa Zimbabwe.
Mimi ni princess wa nini? Wales.
Hoho.
Yes.
Na filifili.
Yes.
Hata haijafikwa. Ndio unaita fisa.
Ya usikie kitu mzuri ni vanilla. Very nice for you.
Huyu ni nani?
Wewe, who are you?
Haumjui? Si wewe ndio umemwajiri kazi?
Nani?
Good afternoon on the 6th day of June 2022. This is KBC Channel 1. You are just in time for lunchtime news. I am Nissy. Imano. Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter this afternoon. We do have a comprehensive bulletin that we have prepared for you, and we want to begin at the Bomas of Kenya, where my colleague Ruth Wamboi is going to be joining us live with an update.
Thank you so much, Nissy. Imano, called back from the broadcasting house. We are coming to you live from the Bomas of Kenya, whereby
Right, I think we will be joining we'll be linking up with Ruth in a few when we get her. We apologize for that technical hitch. But moving on, Nyandarua Governor Francis Kimemia has commissioned the construction of 135 million shillings Communicable Disease Control Center in Mirangine Olkalau sub-county. The facility, that is expected to take 3 months to completion, will focus on prevention, detection and response to communicable diseases.
Speaking at Gwakiongo while commissioning the construction of the facility, Kimemia said that COVID-19 had presented no challenges to delivery of health services, thus necessitating a unique approach in delivering of healthcare. The Communicable Disease Control Center, CDCC, which has been described as one of its kind in the Mount Kenya region, will be an integrated facility that will also be utilized to offer all other health services to the community around its location. The facility will comprise of isolation wards, laboratories, as well as a research and development center.
Ni facility ambayo itatibu migonjwa yeyote. Na tutaleta wataalamu kutoka hapa Kenya, kutoka nje ya nchi. Hii itakuwa international center. Acha niwaambie, msione kama ni kitu kidogo inajengwa hapa.
Trevor Ngendo, Lunchtime News.
A team of students studying gender studies at Egerton University in Nakuru have embarked on a free menstrual health sensitization campaign in all secondary schools in the county. The move, according to the university students, aims to help teenage girls understand menstruation and observe menstruation hygiene.
under the auspices of Tareto Africa. The students are contributing money towards a joint initiative that also aims to provide sanitary towels to 700,000 adolescent girls from needy households and sanitary bins to 350 rural schools. The coordinator to Tareto Africa, Gertrude Suma, says the idea of the weekly forums is also to create a friendly platform where teenage girls can freely interact with experts and get acquainted with information about menstrual health and proper hygiene.
I have seen there is a gap where many girls and young women lack information. They lack on how to react when they get their first period. They lack information on what is the best sanitary material to use when they are on your period.
A participant, Nyokabi Mutugi, noted that the program seeks to ensure that teenage girls are not lured into transnational sex to purchase the essential commodities due to economic hardships.
That's why we even introduced this idea of them getting the opportunity to share with the others and share with their seniors to understand the importance of hygiene, not only in the compound but at individual level.
They were speaking at the Nakuru Girls' School during a menstrual hygiene forum that brought together more than 1,200 teenage girls from various schools in Nakuru West and Nakuru East and Bahati sub-counties. According to the United Nations Children's Fund, out of approximately 5 million girls between the ages of 10 and 19 in Kenya, 2.6 million required support to obtain menstrual hygiene materials. Pauline Nasimiu for Lunchtime News.
And elsewhere, an international non-governmental organization, Rainforest Alliance, has embarked on a 5-year program of rehabilitating Mount Kenya forest ecosystem. According to Director in charge of East Africa, Julius Nganga, the organization seeks to train over 50,000 farmers in Embu County on ways to conserve and better manage their resources so that they can collectively protect Mount Kenya biodiversity reservoir.
The director said the iconic forest landscape had been degraded through practices such as illegal deforestation, uncontrolled water abstraction in the rivers emanating from the forest, and encroachment into protected forest surrounding one of the country's major water towers. Speaking while launching the program, Nganga said it was important to prioritize conservation of the forest as it was also an important agricultural zone to thousands of coffee and tea farmers.
Together, we can improve the livelihoods of the communities. We can also conserve Mount Kenya, fight climate change, and link farmers and communities with necessary finance and ensure our investments are moving toward green investment.
He said some of the alternative economic activities they were exploring for them include high-value trees such as Hass avocado and macadamia, dairy farming, beekeeping, as well as rearing of small livestock and insects such as rabbits, crickets, and black soldier flies.
We have seen a lot of destruction, illegal logging, also of extraction of water, encroaching to riparian areas. All this is what we need to change so that we can ensure Mount Kenya remains an important water tower, even as we produce coffee and tea and other crops.
He said the program that is also running in Kirinyaga County, having been launched last year, will be scaled to also help conserve other towers, including Mau, Mount Elgon, and the Aberdare forests.
All right, let's now head over to the Bomas of Kenya. Our team is there on standby to give us an update on the IEBC clearance. Ruth Wamboi.
Thank you so much, Nissy. Imano called back from the broadcasting house. We are coming to you live from the Bomas of Kenya, whereby it is a big blow to Jimmy Safina Party candidate Jimmy Wanjigi, as his papers have been rejected. One of the reasons that has made his clearance to be rejected is because he has no degree certificate, the commission has said that he presented transcripts which cannot be accepted for anyone standing for a presidential candidate. You must bring in your degree certificate. Second reason that has made Jimmy Wanjigi's papers to be rejected is because of he had no sufficient supporters. It is a requirement by the commission that when you are standing as a presidential candidate, you must have support from at least 24 counties. But Wanjigi did not meet that threshold, and that's why his papers have been rejected. So basically, it's those two reasons that have made his papers to be rejected, and the commission has told him to use the dispute. If he is not satisfied with what the commission has told him, that he will not be able to be on the ballot come August, he should use the dispute resolution mechanism to lodge his complaint. But Jimmy Wanjigi on his part has said that he is going to court, that he will not accept that the commission has humiliated him and many other Kenyans, and he insists that he will be on the ballot come August. He has said first he's going to court, and secondly he's going to use that dispute resolution mechanism. As we can know, so far 15 candidates have appeared before the commission, and out of those 15 candidates, only 5 have so far been cleared. In the afternoon, we are expected to have 2 more candidates, so that this exercise for presidential clearance can be finished. We are having in the afternoon Mudhiora Kiriara of an independent candidate, and then afterwards we shall have Gadhendu. Njeru Gadhengu, who will appear in the commission in the afternoon to close this day. So we are camping here, and we'll keep our viewers updated in our subsequent bulletin. Back to you, studio.
Thank you, Ruth Wamboi. Of course, the twitching tent there, and they're going to be updating us as the day unfolds. Today is the last day for the last batch of the presidential aspirants that are being cleared by the IEBC. So that and so much more, keep it here for our subsequent bulletins. Staying with that IEBC story, a heated contest in the race to succeed Kajiado Governor Joseph Ole Lenku is set to kick off after more candidates seeking the county's top seat were cleared by IBC. Kajiado South MP Kato Olemetito and his running mate Judy Pere, running on UDA ticket, are the latest to join the race that has clan politics at the center stage of the county's succession politics.
Kajiado gubernatorial contest took shape after the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission cleared more candidates to join the growing list of persons seeking to succeed Governor Lenku. Kajiado South MP Kato Olemetito, a fourth-time legislator running on UDA ticket, and his running mate Judy Pere are the latest to join the race. Former Kiserian councillor Ambrose Kago cleared to give the governorship a first stab as an independent candidate says he wants to address the anomalies orchestrated by the current and former regimes, including unequal resource distribution and skewed employment.
I want just to say that as we go out, let us campaign peacefully. Let us campaign without, let's have an issue-based campaign. Let's talk on issues that affect the people of this county, especially the devolved services, health, water, infrastructure, the issue of empowerment of our people, youth and women.
Have resources shared equally, and the resources should also not be lost into the hands of the offices.
Elsewhere, the United Democratic Alliance Yaya gubernatorial candidate had her nomination certificate cancelled after it emerged that her running mate was still a serving public officer. Millicent Adhiambo Odor, who had earlier been cleared to contest, was recalled back to the Siaya IEBC offices to surrender the certificate by the returning officer.
2017, I was a deputy governor in Jubilee Party. This time, I'm the governor in UDA Party. So because of the experience of that time, I felt I need to come up so that I work for my people to give back to the society. Because when you are a deputy, you are not in full force. You are not in control. But this time, I'm in the control. And I will do what it takes to help my Siaya people, because we are in poverty. People are really struggling.
In Kilifi, grueling campaigns pitting supporters of the main political formations, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio One Kenya Alliance, are set to kick off after former Chief Administrative Gideon Mung'aro and Malindi Member of Parliament Aisha Jumwa got IEBC's nod. Mung'aro will fly the Orange Democratic Movement Party, while Jumwa is seeking the highly coveted seat in the county through Deputy President William Ruto's United Democratic Alliance.
KBC is well prepared na tuna imani ya kwamba ikifika August kutakuwa na uchaguzi ambayo kutakuwa credible, fair and free. Kwa hivyo tuna imani na IEBC.
Hiyo process yenyewe si fupi, hatakuwa na kwamba ati tulipoteza wakati kwa kitu yote. Process ni ndefu. Ni ndefu kwa sababu inaangalia si kama zile zamani ukija tu unapitishwa mbio mbio. Vitu mingi vinaangaliwa kama wewe umepitishwa pia na EACC. Angalia kuna mambo mingi.
Moving on, the Service Party TSP leader Mwangi Kiunjuri is calling on Kenyans to elect leaders of their choice in the forthcoming general election. Kiunjuri urged Kenyans to be wary of electing leaders with no track record in development and who do not have the interest of the people at heart.
Speaking at Oljabet Trading Center in Marmanet ward of Laikipia County, the former Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mwangi Kiunjuri underscored the need for voters to look for visionary leaders without necessarily focusing on political party affiliations.
Watu wanajua vizuri wewe kazi yako na kazi ya mwingine. Na ndiye mara hii tumeamua. Rais tumekubaliana. Lakini hapa chini chagua kiongozi ambaye anakufaa. Sio lazima uchague TSP kama hafai. Chagua yule mjumbe unajua atakufanyia kazi na atakusaidia kwa maisha yako.
He noted that TSP party was firmly supporting the William Ruto presidency, but observed that his party has fielded candidates in other positions. The same script resonated in Kitengela with elders from various communities residing in the area, urging electorates to elect visionary leaders in the forthcoming polls. The elders blamed divisive politics for limited development initiated by local leaders. Elsewhere, political leaders vying for various elective seats in Mombasa County and their electorates have been urged to exercise restraint and embrace peaceful coexistence as the 2022 general election nears. Speaking in different campaign forums in Nyali constituency, the political candidates raised concern that previous trends of electioneering violence may recur should the politicians fail to be tolerant to each other.
We need to have peaceful campaigns. We need to love each and everybody. We need not to fight. We need not to have pressure groups. As you move on to do your campaigns, move with peace and make sure you don't engage the youth into pressure groups so that they are going to get hurt.
Finally, Siaya Senator James Orengo has challenged Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Party supporters to vote for their presidential candidate Raila Odinga. Speaking in Busia town during an ODM political rally, Orengo said he is the best suited candidate with a strong mandate to form the next government and deliver to the people of Kenya.
Tunataka tupige kura, hakuna kurudia kura, hakuna kwenda kotini. Tunataka on the 10th, saa 4 August, mimi Raila Amolo Odinga.
And outgoing Siaya County Senator James Orengo has been cleared by the IEBC to gun for the Siaya gubernatorial seat. Orengo appeared before Siaya County IEBC coordinator Catherine Wandabwa at around 10:30 a.m. this morning, accompanied by his running mate William Udwol and a host of other ODM aspirants. Achola Simon with details.
Siaya Senator James Orengo has been cleared to contest for the Siaya gubernatorial seat. Accompanied by his running mate William Odwol and a host of ODM aspirants from Siaya County, the senator appeared before Siaya County IEBC coordinator Catherine Wandabwa at around 10:30 Monday morning for clearance. Orengo is promising good governance as the anchor on which his leadership will be built on, even as he strives to enhance service delivery to the people.
Good governance, transparent. If you can start from there and have accountability and transparency in running of the affairs of the county, because money comes to the county, and that money comes to the county already allocated to fulfill certain missions. So if that money is used fairly, openly and transparently, I think that's the start.
He called on the locals to vote for ODM candidates as a means of ensuring Azimio One Kenya Alliance presidential candidate Raila Odinga has enough party lieutenants to advance the party's vision.
Country, party matters, political parties matter. You see what has happened to Biden, because he doesn't have numbers. His government, the agenda he may be having, cannot be achieved because, he doesn't have numbers. Even Jubilee, because there was a fifth column within Jubilee, the government became dysfunctional. So if really we truly want ODM through Raila Odinga to form a government that is going to deliver, we must have members of parliament that support the agenda of the party. The main party in Kenya is ODM.
He also called on his supporters to maintain peace during this campaign period.
Elections are by nature competitive, but they must be peaceful. We also want to address issues. We don't want people who every day they wake up, they think about personalities and characters.
His clearance paves way for an expected bracing battle against former Reda legislator engineer Nicholas Gumbo, who is also eyeing the seat on an MDG ticket. Achola Simon, Lunchtime News, Siaya County.
It is time now for our very fast break, but don't go too far. We'll be back in just a bit.
Like this on our wedding night, all right?
Wedding night?
Are you willing to follow my lead? Destroy those damn Celestials so we can rule? I'll drag the Heavenly King out of heaven myself.
I'm sorry for what I've done to you. I feel so guilty about what's happened. I can't forgive myself.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Wewe ni nani? Kwani wewe ndio nani?
Uko na fedha?
Uko na makoloni, pepoloni na hayawani.
Ringa mtu anafikiria mimi ni president wa Zimbabwe.
Mimi ni princess wa nini? Wales.
Hoho na filifili hata haijafikwa. Ndio unaita fisa.
Ya usikie kitu mzuri ni vanilla. Very nice for you.
Huyu ni nani?
Wewe, who are you?
Haumjui? Si wewe ndio umemwajiri kazi?
Nani?
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Moving on, 11 people died and 8 others were injured after a 14-seater matatu they were traveling in was involved in a road accident along the Kanyonyo-Kabati Road in Kitui County.
The passengers, believed to be from the same family together with their friends, were coming from Wingi after attending a dowry payment ceremony at around 11:50 p.m. when the accident occurred. Kitui County Commander Lea Kitei, who confirmed the incident, said that 9 people died on the spot while 2 others died while receiving treatment at Kitui Hospital. One of the survivors claims that the driver of the Nakimu Sacco vehicle lost control while trying to overtake another vehicle before crashing.
Jana usiku mwendo wa saa 4 nilipigiwa simu na mmoja wa waathiriwa akanifahamisha kwamba wamepata ajali wakitoka kupeleka mahali Mandwari.
Katika chene ilikuwa imeendelea, ukiingia kwa hiyo junction, hiyo gari ilikuwa inapotana na ingine nyuma. Sasa wakati huo dereva alikuwa anabeba, alikuwa anajaribu kuwapateki ingine, sijui ni nini kilifanyika. Kakuja kama anataka kukonga ingine, akapika ngadi katoka kando. Kutoka kando kulitisha kwa barabara. Sasa nilianguka. Mali mimi nisikia nikiwa huko nje, kila mtu ajua pale yake hadi kiwa gina.
8 people who were seriously injured are receiving treatment at Kitui, Matu and Kenyatta hospitals.
Let's now take a look at the day's business. The Capital Markets Authority will begin rewarding whistleblowers 3% of the reported and recovered penalties or illicit gains in order to promote investor protection and confidence. CMA Chief Executive Officer Wycliffe Shamia says under the reward scheme, whistleblowers whose identity would be protected would get up to 5 million shillings.
The Capital Markets Whistleblower Regulations 2022 that empowers the Capital Markets Authority to reward whistleblowers will outline how the rewards to such whistleblowers will be implemented. The reportable misconduct includes capital markets fraud, failure to comply with legal and regulatory obligations, and other offences prescribed in the Capital Markets Act and regulations. The information offered by the whistleblowers may still be released to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The Capital Market Authority maintains that any person who presents uncontestable evidence, either anonymously or in person, will gain reasonable protection measures on their identity as per the Witness Protection Act. The exposé should include substantial details and evidence of misconduct or contraventions of the law which would then be used to lead investigations that recover illicit gains. The Capital Markets Authority CEO, Wycliffe Shamia, notes that the reward granted to whistleblowers would include even penalties imposed, but is however limited to 5 million shillings. In addition, he argues, the new policy would encourage CMA licensees and listed companies to comply with the Capital Markets Act and regulations. The authority says under the new regulations, the policy would promote market integrity and accountability in the conduct of business by all market players, and the balance recovered would then be transferred and held in the Investor Compensation Fund. Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
And across the borders, the central bank rate in Uganda has been raised to control the rising inflation. Policymakers have attributed the trend to supply and demand imbalances that were caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and escalated by the Russia-Ukraine conflict that started in February. Here are the details of the story and much more from across the continent.
Uganda's central bank has increased the central bank rate to 7.5% from 6.5% to control the rising inflation as it is spreading broadly across the basket of consumer goods and services. The economy is projected to grow in a low range of 4.5 to 5% as the latest consumer price data indicates a sharp rise in the price of essential commodities such as food, cooking oil, soap, fuel, and transportation. Economic experts worry that if prices continue to increase faster than real incomes, people will not be able to afford goods and services, and the result will be a slowdown in domestic economic growth. The government says that it will not reduce taxes or offer subsidies on essential commodities as the country's economy will be hurt by doing so. Meanwhile, A corn flour processing plant project aided by the Chinese government was officially handed over to a Zambian government. The project will help the country's agricultural development and food self-sufficiency and benefit the Zambian people. The Chinese ambassador to Zambia said the completion and delivery of the project is another milestone in the friendship between China and Zambia. Over the years, the Chinese government has been committed to supporting Zambia's agricultural development and food security through various forms. Finally, fuel prices in Tanzania have dropped after a $43 million subsidy was activated by the government to manage the arising concern of a hike in fuel prices. This led to a price drop of $0.13 for petrol and $0.14 for diesel per litre. The government has set up a fuel prices stabilization fund and a national strategic petroleum reserve. It has also allowed the private sector to play a more active role in importing fuel into the country. However, taxes and levies paid to various government departments and agencies amount to about 40% of the fuel price consumers pay at fuel stations.
On the international scene, the world's top oil exporter, Saudi Arabia, raised July crude oil prices for Asian buyers to higher than expected levels. The official selling price for July, loading Arab Light to Asia, was hiked by $2.1 a barrel from June to $6.5 a barrel over Oman Dubai quotes, just off an all-time high recorded in May. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
By state oil producer Saudi Aramco came despite an agreement by OPEC states to boost output by 648,000 barrels per day in July and a similar amount in August in an effort to offset Russian supply losses. That compares with an initial plan to add 432,000 barrels per day a month over 3 months until September. But the increase have been divided across member countries, especially Russia, Angola and Nigeria. Meanwhile, Thailand's central bank will leave interest rates unchanged at their record low for the rest of the year to support economic recovery. Driven by higher food and energy prices, inflation in Thailand rose to 4.65% in April and was expected to stay over 5% in the coming months, well above the Bank of Thailand's target range of 1% to 3%. Finally, German car maker Mercedes-Benz is recalling almost 1 million older vehicles from around the world because of potential problems with their braking system. The recall affects a total of 993,407 vehicles, including 70,000 in Germany. Mercedes recalled a similar number of cars last year over safety issues with their emergency call system. The company said the vehicles in the latest recall were built between 2004 and 2015 and were from its ML and GL series of SUVs and R-Class luxury minivans. Terry Njenga, Lunchtime News.
Moving on, the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation is banking on the adoption of the risk-based premium system to incentivize banks to avoid excessive risk-taking. KDIC Chief Executive Officer Mohamed Ahmed Mohamud says non-adherence to good corporate governance poses a risk for commercial and microfinance banks, and hence the need for a system that awards accountability.
The Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation introduced a risk-based premium system in efforts to reduce the exposure of banks.
We want to see the assets in these banks. We want banks to have very good assets, that in the unlikely event of a problem, we can quickly resolve that bank without closing any door.
Under the new model, banks rated low risk pay a normal flat rate of 0.15% of their annual deposits as premium to the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, while those rated high risk are charged a higher premium rate of 0.206%, an additional of 0.056%.
Going forward, we don't want to close any door of any bank. That is our future. But that doesn't mean that I'm telling you today to go and just involve yourself in some moral hazard because it's a KDIC said we shall not close any bank. If you mismanage it so bad, we'll close the bank. But all of us must work towards ensuring that we don't close our bank, because closure of a bank affects the cardinal tenets of a state, which is lives and properties, isn't it?
Despite this, 11 listed banks had a leadership rating and a weighted overall score of 81.74% across all principles in the year to June 2021, which has been partially attributed to low adherence to good corporate governance.
Even if we look at more recently, what has happened with some of the more recent bank troubles over the last 5 years, again, you come to the same conclusion that this is something that we must avoid at all costs. And part of avoiding this is just adopting this learning culture where we are constantly thinking about what's the best and how do we improve governance, how do we improve leadership.
The Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation plans to address emerging issues by regularly reassessing the risk-based premium model on its effectiveness and efficiency in meeting its objectives, and where necessary, the model will be updated or revised.
And we in KDIC, going by our mantra of zero bank failures, we strongly recommend strong and corporate governance frameworks within our banks.
In 2019, the Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation raised the amount of compensation depositors could access from collapsed banks from 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings. Regina Manya reporting for Lunchtime News.
And moving on, Kenya's private sector activities worsened for the second month in May, with the sector output and new orders falling further. The Stanbic Purchasing Managers Index shows that inflationary pressures impacted both operating costs and customer demand, leading to slower growth. For the second time in 2 months, the reading fell below the 50 mark to 48.2 in May from 49.5 in April.
Kenya's business environment has been deteriorating in the last few months, driven by a ravaging drought, the high cost of oil, and the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine that has affected commodity supplies globally. This has seen inflation jump to record levels in the last 5 months. According to the monthly Purchasing Managers Index for May, activities in the private sector have worsened in May, with companies reporting slow sales and a freeze in hiring. The Stanbic Bank Purchasing Managers Index fell to 48.2 in May from 49.5 in April. Readings above 50.0 signal an improvement in business conditions on the previous month, while readings below 50.0 show deterioration. More positively, export sales expanded at a solid pace, while backlogs of work decreased. The current exchange rate, with the strengthening of the dollar, was also identified as a contributor to business misfortunes, with firms incurring high import rates. However, the survey data indicated that the overall decline was modest and partly offset by a solid expansion in export sales. Experts also pointed out that lower sales allowed a degree of clearance efficiencies midway through the second quarter, leading to the first decline in outstanding work since January. The Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index is based on 5 individual indexes with various weights, with new orders representing 30%, output at 25%, employment at 20%, while suppliers' delivery times and stock of items purchased representing 15% and 10% respectively.
Let's now head over to the Kenya Power, where Kenya Power is installing patching deterrents and the configuration of power lines to reduce the increasing cases of electrocution of large-bodied bird species. Kenya Power says electrocution of birds is common in Naivasha, Kinangop, Dandora, Nakuru and Magadi, and mostly involves large-bodied birds such as pelicans, owls, flamingos, cranes and marabou storks.
Electrocution of birds on power lines has long been a significant cause of bird mortality, killing as many as 11.6 million birds annually globally, including some endangered species, according to a study done by the New Jersey Division of Fish and Wildlife. Besides the impact on bird populations, electrocutions cause power outages and damage the electricity networks. Locally, Kenya Power is putting measures in place to prevent avian electrocution, such as installation of perching deterrents and reconfiguration of power lines. Kenya Power Acting Managing Director Engineer Geoffrey Moli says the utility firm has rerouted the 33 kilovolt power line outside Lake Nakuru National Park to prevent death of flamingos and pelicans within the park. He says work is ongoing to relocate the 132 kilovolt power line near the park to run along the Kenya Wildlife Services fence in order to provide enough clearance for the birds as they take off or land at Lake Nakuru National Park. In Kinangop, Engineer Muli says the process of changing the design of a 3-kilometer stretch on the 33 kilovolt power line serving the area is ongoing with the aim of providing enough space to enable the endangered grey-crested African cranes to maneuver with ease. Kenya Power has installed reflector balls on pylon tops, pole tops and substation structures at Juja Road and Magadi Soda substations to prevent the marabu storks from perching on the structures. The utility firm has converted the Juja Road substation into a gas-insulated substation, thus minimizing the risk of electrocution of birds within the Dandora area. Nduta Mukami for Lunchtime News.
And coffee farmers are set to benefit from a benchmarking program that aims to increase production and generate income. The program, targeting 44 cooperatives in Murang'a County, looks to boost the sector whose production has been declining over the years.
Kenya is the 5th largest producer of coffee in Africa, behind Ethiopia, Uganda, Ivory Coast and Tanzania. In 2020, coffee production in Kenya dropped from 45,000 metric tons to 36,900 tons. Kenya coffee production has dropped for 2 consecutive years, pushing the country further behind Africa's top producers of the commodity. Dwindling production is attributed to conversion of coffee farms to more lucrative crops and real estate projects, outdated farming practices and climatic changes. To help revive production in the sector, benchmarking program has been put in place that will benefit Murang'a coffee cooperatives. 44 coffee cooperatives in Murang'a benefit from mentor cooperatives. The benchmarking program is focused on helping Murang'a County reclaim its national position as a leading coffee producing county that can contribute over 10 billion shillings to the county. The program was launched at Wanjegi Coffee Factory and will continue through the week to benefit Wahundura, Sabasaba, Kinogerama, Kabati, Njora and Kanyenyaini coffee cooperatives in Murang'a County. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Teresa Mutai.
Moving on, police in Kisii have recovered crude weapons suspected to be used in causing mayhem during the current election campaigns. The weapons included 4 machetes and several wooden pieces confiscated earlier from a hideout near the area's electoral body offices in Kisii town. A reflector jacket with a candidate's photo impression was also retrieved. Police suspected the weapons could have been 40 and distributed in several points, according to the intelligence reports received. Kisii County Police Commander Francis Kohli confirmed the incident, saying the recovery followed a tip-off from members of the public and the intelligence operations within 4 days.
They have a right to be listened to. Yeah. We've been receiving information about the plans on chaos within the county, at least to disrupt the peace we have. And earlier on, we were able to recover some wooden piece of woods that were planned to be used during the presentations of nomination papers. I have 4 names here with us, and we are going to hand over to our investigative department so that we narrow down to those ones who are to be used today. And again, we are still following up those ones who are behind this to ensure that they are brought to book.
We now want to cross over to the Nyayo Stadium. Our team has pitched tent there, and Ben Troy Njue will be joining us live to give us an update on the Azimio la Umoja manifesto launch. Ben Troy?
Good afternoon, Nissy, Imano back in studio, and also good afternoon to all our viewers. Indeed, we are live from the Nyayo National Stadium, and as you can see behind me is where Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga, together with Martha Karua, will be launching their manifesto. We have been camping here since minutes past 10, and I can tell you for free is that everything is set. The dominant color here is blue. We have seen some of the ODM secretariat or the Azimio la Umoja secretariat members stream in, but as yet we do not have the invited guests. I've been able to talk to some of the organizing committee members right here who have been kind enough to allow us at least to pick some information regarding the great day, but they have been tight-lipped on talking to us in regards to what to expect today. But we know very well is that the function is officially to start or to kick off at about 4 p.m. The seats are already set. We cannot be able to enter there because there's a lot of noise. There are some artists who are already there practicing mic check. We have the likes of Masauti and also Helen Mutawali. They are already in the tent there, and they are actually practicing for the great day. But in a nutshell, you do remember yesterday the Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga did talk about a 10-point agenda that will be enshrined in his manifesto, talking about the economic empowerment and also talking about healthcare as one of the things that we expect in his manifesto today. And something also we do expect is that the 10-point agenda will touch on, as he talked about this yesterday in Nakuru, talked about will be touching the local mwananchi, or if you like, mwananchi wa kawaida, as he put it yesterday. So other than that, the media, we have already rigged. Everything is set. We are expecting dignitaries to arrive. We are around 5,000 seats there. Remember, this is an invite-only affair, and also the media has not been given the blueprint actually of what to expect today or even the program, but we do expect dignitary to be arriving any moment from now so that he may actually tell us about his 10-point agenda as he talked about his manifesto. That is all we have been able to collect here, as we are waiting for the guests to be seated, but by around 4 p.m. so that the other guests, the distinguished guests, will be arriving shortly after that. And after that, all systems go, as we expect his fifth presidential manifesto at his fifth stab right here at the Nyayo National Stadium. That's all we have been able to gather here. We will be coming back a little bit later with much more regarding this great day. Back to you, Nissy.
Thank you. That's Ben Troy and our team that is currently at the Nyayo Stadium covering that particular story. We are keeping a keen eye on that, and we'll be giving you a full report in our subsequent bulletins. Let's now take a look at what is making headlines in the world of sports. Emmanuel Wanyonyi continued with his winning streak after beating Nigel Amos of Botswana to win 800-meter title at the Rabat leg of the World Athletics Diamond League. Meanwhile, Mary Moraa won the women's race with an impressive sprint to complete a Kenyan double in the 2-lap race.
Who is the world under-20 champion showed immense last-lap power to win his race in a time of 1 minute, 45.47 seconds ahead of Botswana's Nigel Amos, who clocked 1 minute 45.66 seconds. Wanyonyi was part of a startup line that had compatriots Emmanuel Corril, Ferguson Rotich and Michael Saroni. In the women's 800 meters category, Mary Moraa won the women's race with an impressive sprint to complete a Kenyan double in the 2-lap race. Moraa clocked 1 minute 58.94 seconds ahead of South African's Prudence Godiso, who came second with a time of 1 minute 59.23 seconds. Mercy Cherono took the charge in the women's 3,000 meters race and finished first, clocking 8 minutes 40.29 seconds, closely followed by Great Britain's Amy Eloise Markovic, who clocked 8 minutes 40.32 seconds.
And Wales overcame another monumental effort from Ukraine to qualify for their first World Cup since 1958 on a night of high emotion and drama in Cardiff. Elsewhere, Lionel Messi scored all 5 of Argentina's goals as they continued their fine form by thrashing Estonia in a friendly in Pamplona. Spain, while his bitter rival Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice as Portugal thrashed Switzerland to move top of their Nations League group.
Wales achieved a massive 1-0 victory over Ukraine to take them to this year's World Cup at the Cardiff City Stadium. Wales are now through to the World Cup after 64 years.
By Nissy again. The wait is over.
In another match, Messi is now the 4th highest scorer in men's international football, behind Mokhtar Dahari, Ali Daei and Cristiano Ronaldo, after netting all 5 goals for Argentina against Estonia last night. Elsewhere in the Nations League, Portugal lead in the group of the table after defeating Switzerland 4-0 at the Stadio Jose Stadium. William Carvalho opened the scoring for Portugal in the 15th minute before Cristiano Ronaldo scored 2 goals in the 35th and 39th minute.
And that's a decent save, and William puts it in the back of the net. It's perfectly placed. 4 for Bruno Fernandes, he's done really well. Diogo Jota, Ronaldo, 2-0.
João Cancelo scored the 4th in the second half to help Portugal seal a 4-0 victory.
Oh, he's just taken it around the keeper, and he makes it 4.
In the NBA, Stephen Curry scored 29 points as the Golden State Warriors conquered the Boston Celtics 107-88 in Game 2 of the NBA Finals at Chase Center. Curry scored 5 three-pointers as well as making 6 rebounds and 4 assists as the Warriors dominated the second half in San Francisco. The Celtics had picked up where they left off in Game 1 to take an early 9-point lead, but 11 first half turnovers allowed the Warriors back into the contest to hold a 2-point advantage at the break. In the second half, the Celtics continued to collapse, committing 19 turnovers that led to 33 points for the Warriors.
Step for 3. And we're tied at 40. Outlet to Wiggins. One more to Payton inside. White right in his airspace. Wiggins from deep.
And that is all the time that we had for Lunchtime News, but more news on our website at www.kbc.co.ke. We are keeping a close eye on the IEBC at Bomas, of course, clearing the last batch of the presidential aspirants, and we are also at the Nyayo Stadium on standby to bring you coverage of the Azimio La Umoja manifesto launch. So you'd like to keep it here for that. I am Nissy Imano. Susan Thuku has been our sign language interpreter. Good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Top sports attractions on KBC Channel 1. In July, Kenya Morans face off against the DRC, Egypt and Senegal in the FIBA Basketball World Cup African qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt from 1st to 3rd of July 2022. Also in July, Kenya plays South Africa in Rugby League test matches in Nairobi with the return fixtures set for October. Still in July, watch the World Athletic Championships from 15th to 24th July live from Oregon, USA as Kenyan athletes seek glory. Followed by the 22nd Commonwealth Games from 28th July to 8th August live from Birmingham, England. In August, join our coverage of the World Athletics Under-20 Championships from the 1st to 6th of August 2022 from Cali, Colombia. Then, in November, catch the World Half Marathon Championships on 13th November from Yangzhou, China. Now that's what sets us apart as KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Wewe ni nani? Kwani wewe ndio nani?
Uko na fedha?
Uko na makoloni? Pepoloni?
Pepoloni.
Na hayawani?
Pinga mtu anaweza kufikiri wewe ni president wa Zimbabwe.
Mimi ni princess wa nini? Wales.
Hoho na filifili hata haijafikwa. Ndio unaita fisa.
Ya usikie kitu mzuri ni vanilla. Very nice for you.
Huyu ni nani?
Wewe, who are you?
Haumjui? Si wewe ndio umemwajiri kazi?
Nani?
As campaign intensified for the upcoming general election, what does all this mean for you, the voter? What do the candidates have to offer? How prepared are agencies charged with the election process? Join John Kuria and Safina Chieng on Kenya Decides. This and every Tuesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 as we unpack elections 2022 with a panel of various stakeholders. Make informed electoral decisions.
Pili na lapa ni wako hapa nyuma. Unaendeleaje?
Better without you all over my face.
Lakini kama leo hakutaki, siakwambie tu.
Hata sio kwa kufikiria wapi kualika watu kama hivi.
Kufanya hii sherehe limeniudhi sana.
Wenyewe wanasema kila soko lina mwenda wazimu wake. Naona yule ndo wetu hapa.
But how did you find him?
Adrian found him.
Adrian?
You got away with it, didn't you?
Child will no longer be able to know his father. My child will no longer have a father.
Why did you tell your father that you're now pregnant?
But you come back. How I wish you had already been lost forever and never had come back to this house again.
If the child is not yours, why did you agree to be the father? My dad committed suicide.
Hello, my name is Asha Sampath and welcome to this new edition of Business Africa, your magazine dedicated to the continent's business and economic news. As usual, you can win $150 in our Business Africa game. More details later, but first, today's top stories. Reducing carbon emissions while tackling traffic congestion, Kigali is adopting the electric bike.
Muri rusange Gura iyo tuvuze Gura numva uburyo bushyashya.
Gura Ride is a project which consists in reducing the number of people waiting during a long time for buses and which are quite expensive for some. We head for Douala and its Grand Mall. This is the latest in the giant hypermarket trend that has started to sweep across Africa. The people who come feel clearly valued, unlike other places they have been to before, which made the excitement very strong. Rice farmers are at the forefront of fighting against Asian competition and making local production triumph.
Initially, it is important to establish the best possible relationship between the various parties in order to have a top-quality finished product at the right price.
Reducing carbon emissions is more than ever a global priority, but how do you get there concretely? The answer is more difficult. This year, researchers at the University of Oxford concluded that emissions from cycling can be 30 times lower for each trip than those from driving a fossil fuel car. In Africa, some countries are trying to find alternatives to solve two problems in one fell swoop: pollution and traffic jams. This is the case in Kigali. The capital of Rwanda now has a new means of self-service electric bicycle transportation system. Take a look.
Kigali, the capital of Rwanda, is a city in continuous transformation. Its metamorphosis has generated a constant stream of new arrivals. The rapid growth of the population has today become a considerable challenge when it comes to traffic, with constant gridlocks in the city. Buses, motorbikes and taxis are the usual means of transport for most city dwellers. Cycling has not really caught on among the Kigalians. Now though, Gura Ride, a local startup, has been offering an alternative way of getting around.
Gura Ride is a project which consists in reducing the number of people waiting during a long time for buses, and which are quite expensive for some.
The Public Transport Initiative for Self-Service Electric Bicycles has received the green light from the Kigali city authorities. Created in 2017, Gura Ride's ambition is to make the bicycle a new and affordable means of transportation for everyone.
We chose Rwanda because the infrastructure of the country's cities is very favorable for bicycle transports. Plus, the townspeople walk around a lot, so it was a sign that they would like to do their shopping by bike rather than on foot.
City bicycles, a successful concept from the West, are now being imported to the land of 1,000 hills. Since its launch, 12 parking points like this one have been set up in crossroads in the capital. First-time users must first download the Gura Ride app to benefit from 2 months of free rides, and many already love the concept. I've heard of these bikes. I gave it a try today and liked it. Not only its agility, but also the fact that I can use it to run errands without a problem. It's a significant improvement. Each bike comes with an electronic lock that can only be opened if you have a valid subscription on the dedicated mobile app. After completing their journey, the user will park the bicycle at the station nearest their destination, ready for the next users to take their turn.
At all bicycle parking points, users register in the notebook by presenting their identities and telephone numbers. Our colleagues in vests explain how to proceed, starting with downloading the app needed to enjoy 2 free months, and how to create an account, where are the bike lanes and traffic areas.
Since Rwanda has plenty of mountains and hills and most of the population lives at mid-altitude, Gura Ride has tested several prototype bikes to decide which 2 models were best suited to the terrain.
We have 2 types of bikes, one with chain, the other electric. As you pedal, the battery recharges. This is in our agenda, our contribution to protect the environment from pollution. So Gura Ride bikes are eco-friendly.
The bikes are decorated in green, yellow and blue, the national colours of Rwanda. Some youngsters are already regular cyclists. Simbi Adelaide, a resident of the capital, recognises the difference, however, between a normal bike and that of Gura Ride.
The difference is that the bicycle known to all requires a lot of force to pedal. But with the one from Gura Ride, I'm comfortable. Because of its elegance on my journey, everyone contemplates it.
Behind this startup is Umuhoza Pamela Ella, who heads a group of young people who manage the bicycles from a distance. They can track customer journeys in real time to prevent damage or theft. Gururide bikes are imported as separate pieces and are put together at the startup's assembly and repair shop. Donat is one of the technicians in charge of putting all the parts together, ready for a test ride. He and his colleague can assemble a bike in about 25 minutes and are also trained in maintenance. This is where we do assembly and maintenance. We've been trained and we're ready to intervene at any time. Since not everybody cycles in the same way, I think a flat tyre was our worst nightmare. But our tyres are puncture-proof. Given the quality of our bikes, regular maintenance is only needed every 3 weeks. Gururide is working with authorities from Kigali and other districts of Rwanda to place parking stations in several neighborhoods. The price will vary between 100 and 200 Rwandan francs